Greetings and salutations, this is Akirishin. In this video I will be featuring the de Havilland DH-103 Hornet, a heavy fighter in service with the British. This aircraft features four 20mm Hispano Mk5C cannons with 115 damage per second, a medium rate of fire of 420 rounds per minute, and an effective firing range of 760 meters. This aircraft is also equipped with two 1,000-pound bombs that do 6,000 in damage and have a 90-meter radius of effect. Further, the Hornet has rockets, RP3 SAP rockets that do 1,000 damage each, and each have a radius of 35 meters. This aircraft is indicated to have high airspeed and a long-lasting boost, which surely it does. So to accentuate that strength of the aircraft, I have equipped it with the upgrade of Improved Aircraft Polish 3, which increases maximum airspeed by 5% and acceleration in a dive by 25%. I've also equipped it with Engine Tuning 3, which increases engine power by 5%. The Hornet is also indicated to have good survivability, and so to accentuate that strength, I have equipped it with Improved Covering 3, which decreases chance of critical damage to wings and tail by 20%. Also increases aircraft hit points by 5%. Even though this aircraft has good survivability, it has large dimensions and is therefore an easy target. And so I think the Improved Covering 3 helps to ameliorate the larger dimensions of the aircraft and at the same time increases its survivability. I am using universal ammunition, which has equal chance of fire and chance of critical damage. If you were going to go with a gold ammunition, you would want to equip it with high explosive for the large critical damage. Again, because this aircraft has large dimensions, I have equipped it with the consumable of Control Surface Auto Trim, which automatically restores controllability of wings and tail. That has a 60-second cooldown. Its non-gold version has a 90-second cooldown and is operated manually. This aircraft has vulnerable engines, so you could certainly equip it with the automatic engine restarter, but I have instead equipped it with automatic fire extinguisher. Also, and this is an absolute must for this aircraft, to accentuate its high airspeed and its kind of zoom and boom strategy that is completely viable for this aircraft, I have used engine cooling, which reduces engine overheating by 70%, and that is used manually. That particular skill will bring your engine boost almost up to full strength again, which is very useful when you're trying to get out of dodge, so to speak. In terms of pilot skills, to accentuate this aircraft's high airspeed capability, I've gone with Engine Guru 1, which increases engine thrust by 3% and significantly improves aircraft acceleration. To further augment its strong ground attack capabilities, I have gone with Demolition Expert, which increases damage caused by bombs and rockets and their blast radius by 15%. Now, further augmenting our chosen upgrades, I have selected Aerodynamics Expert, which improves the effects of engine tuning. Now, ideally, I would like to also have Engine Guru 2, but I did not have the skill points for that. But once I get an additional skill point, I will probably get rid of Aerodynamics Expert and instead go with Engine Guru 2. Alright, so just looking at the aircraft's stats, let's open these all up. Optimum altitude is 1,800 meters. It has a rate of climb of 63 meters per second. Its stall speed is 160 kilometers per hour. I have had some issues with the stall speed, mainly because, sometimes I'm not zooming the way that I might, what might be advisable in this aircraft. So that can be an issue. Average time to turn 360 degrees is 14 seconds. This aircraft is not a dogfighting plane. It's not good at it. It's not going to prevail at it. The best way to turn it is, vertically, to use gravity to your advantage, but it's just ineffective in that regard. Speed at best altitude is 715 kilometers per hour. Its maximum dive speed is 860 kilometers per hour. In terms of paint schemes, this is summer that you are looking at right now. Winter. Desert. And finally, marine. Look at the size of those bombs and rockets. They look vicious. All right. So what we are going to do now is to head over to World of Warplanes website and use their Compare Aircraft tool to put this heavy fighter in context with other Tier 7 heavy fighters. And we are now on World of Warplanes website using their Compare Aircraft tool. I've selected the Tier 7 heavy fighters that are available in the game, and we're going to go through and compare each one of those to our Hornet. So first up, we have the premium aircraft Arsenal VB-10, and we have the Tachikawa Kai 94I heavy fighter. Looking at the gun armaments of these aircraft, you can see that both of the two premium aircraft are indicated to have superior armaments to that of the Hornet. And just going into that a little bit more specifically, if you look here at the Hornet, you'll see that it has 420 millimeter cannons that do 115 damage per second with a rate of fire of 420 rounds per minute and an effective firing range of 760 meters. If we look at the arsenals, cannons. It also has 4 20mm cannons, and its damage per second is actually lower than those of the Hornet. Rate of fire is lower than that of the Hornet, and its effective firing range for those 20mm cannons are lower than that for the Hornet. However, in addition to the cannons, this aircraft has something that the Hornet does not, which are 6 12.7mm machine guns. And that is what makes the difference in this equation. In terms of the Ki-94, it has 2 30mm cannons, which do 160 damage per second, which is more than the Hornet's 115 damage per second, but it has a significantly lower rate of fire and a lower effective firing range. Of course, what the Ki-94 has that the Hornet does not have in terms of its armaments is that it has 2 37mm cannons, and those cannons do 240 damage per second. Does have a lower rate of fire and a lower effective firing range, shorter effective firing range, but that damage per second on the 237mm coupled with the 230mm are what make the difference between this aircraft and the Hornet in terms of why it is rated higher in the gun armament section or category than the Hornet is. Now, while the arsenal may have a greater repertoire of cannons and machine guns, it does not have bombs. And so in that regard, the Hornet is significantly superior than the arsenal is. In terms of the Ki-94, looking at its ground attack weapons, it has 2 250 kilogram bombs that only do 4,400 in damage and have a 75-meter radius of effect, as compared to the Hornet's 6,000 damage and 90-meter damage radius. So it's kind of a give and take between ground attack weapons and cannons and machine guns, where the Hornet may lack in one of those departments, it makes up for it in another in terms of its versatility. Also, as you can see, the Hornet has greater hit points than either the VB-10 or the Ki-94. So it may stick around longer than those other two aircraft and therefore perhaps do more damage. You can't do damage if you're destroyed. Also, the Hornet has greater airspeed capability as compared to either the VB-10 or the Ki-94, again going to its survivability. Now, in terms of average time to turn 360 degrees, amazingly, the Ki-94 is not as maneuverable as the Hornet. The Arsenal is slightly more maneuverable than the Hornet. Optimum airspeed, however, the Arsenal and the Ki-94 do excel in that area versus the Hornet by a pretty good margin of kilometers per hour, 63 for the Arsenal and 53 kilometers per hour for the Ki-94. However, both the Arsenal and the Ki-94 will stall sooner than the Hornet will, which is amazing because the Hornet just seems to me to be like a huge aircraft in comparison. But then again, it may have, more horsepower. Optimum airspeed, the Arsenal and the Hornet, the same. The Ki-94 is 200 meters inferior in that regard. Both the Arsenal and the Ki-94, however, will significantly outpace the Hornet in terms of rate of climb. All right, so I hope that helps put the Hornet in context to the Arsenal and the Ki-94. Let's take those two aircraft off the list and go on to the Grumman F7F Tigercat and the Messerschmitt Bf109Z. Okay, so looking at the armaments, both the Tigercat and the Bf109Z are said to have superior armaments to that of the Hornet, but let's go into that a little bit more specifically. The Tigercat, which is a pretty attractive aircraft, by the way, I do plan on reviewing it sometime in the future. So let's see here. So it only has one set of cannons, 4 of them, one set of 4. They are 20 millimeter cannons, and basically these are the same cannons that are on the Hornet. However, Tigercat has 4 12.7 millimeter machine guns to augment its cannons, and that makes the difference in terms of the machine gun and cannon armaments as compared to those of the Hornet. And looking at the Messerschmitt Bf109Z, it has 2 sets of cannons, 2 30 millimeter cannons, MK108Hs, and 2 30 millimeter cannons, MK108 1942Os. The H's do 180 damage per second as compared to the 115 damage per second of the Hornet. Those cannons do have a lower rate of fire and a shorter effective firing range, but apparently they make up for it in the damage per second stat. The 1942O cannons do 180 damage per second, 240 and 576 in the rate of fire and effective firing range categories. So again, it's mainly the increased damage per second and the combined effect of those 2 sets of cannons that gives the Bf109Z the advantage over the armaments of the Hornet. Going on to bombs and rockets, The Tiger Cat is somewhat inferior to that of the Hornet, whereas the BF-109Z is significantly inferior in that category. And let's take a look at that a little bit more specifically. So looking at the Tiger Cat, you see that it has bombs and rockets. The bombs are basically the same bombs as those equipped on the Hornet. However, it only has one of them versus the Hornet has two of them. And in terms of rockets, the rockets on the Tiger Cat are slightly superior to those of the Hornet in terms of damage, in that the Hornet's rockets do 1,000 in damage, whereas the Tiger Cat's rockets do 1,500 in damage. However, the Hornet's rockets have a 35 millimeter radius of effect versus the Tiger Cat's rockets have only a 30 millimeter damage radius. And there are, let's see here, looks like 40 of those rockets on the Tiger Cat, and on the Hornet looks like there are, doesn't really say how many of those there are. This is 8. So anyway, that kind of breaks those differences down a little bit. In terms of the Messerschmitt 109Z, it does not have rockets. It has one bomb, which does 4,400 in damage and has a 75 meter radius, versus the 6,000 damage and 90 radius and 2 bombs on the Hornet. Moving down, in terms of survivability, looking at the hit points, the Tiger Cat is slightly superior to that of the Hornet, whereas the BF-109Z is significantly inferior by 140 hit points. Top speed at best altitude, the Hornet is superior to the Tiger Cat and the BF-109Z in that category. Average time to turn 360 degrees is equal for all of those aircraft. Stall speed, the Tiger Cat and the BF-109Z will both stall prior to the Hornet. Optimum airspeed, or excuse me, optimum altitude, the Tiger Cat is the same as the Hornet, whereas the BF-109Z is 400 meters superior as compared to the Hornet. And rate of climb, the Tiger Cat is slightly superior to the Hornet. The Messerschmitt BF-109Z is significantly superior, almost 21 meters per second superior to the rate of climb for the Hornet. Okay, so hopefully that helps put all of those aircraft in context with the Hornet, and will help you decide what line you want to pursue. So, having put this aircraft in context with other Tier VII heavy fighters Having gone over its specifications and my build, let's get into some PvP here so that you can see how this aircraft performs. So we have drawn the Road to Rome Outpost Theater of Operation. We'll be headed to the command center here first to secure it and get bombers inbound to their assets, the enemy's assets. And then we'll either head to their military base or to the forward airstrip, depending upon how things are looking at that point.
Approaching the area of combat operations. Be ready.
An impressive array of ground attack weaponry, rockets, and those bombs are huge.
Show me what you can do, pilot. Let's roll.
And we'll come in here and drop our armaments first, and then we'll work on the bomb right here. There we go. And then we'll come around here and drop this bomb right here in the center. See if that takes out the whole. Yeah. There we go.
We've taken over the command center. Requesting support.
Okay. So we don't have any armaments right now, and we've lost about a third of our health, so I think we'll focus on the airfield and making some progress there. Some altitude here. Flip around and see what we can do about Douglas. A little too maneuverable for us at this point. Head over here and help with this fighter. We're just going to stay on the move here. It looks like one of our friendlies there collided with us. Took a little health from us. Got a ground attack aircraft coming in, so want to start working on it. Can't be giving him free rein. Flip around here, come back, and hopefully finish him off. And this aircraft is ideally suited for these high survivability aircraft. Got a multi-role over here, and we have an IL-8 coming in. So we'll finish this fighter off hopefully, and then deal with it. I'd like to finish this fighter off first though. Okay, now for our IL-8. I am guessing it is probably headed over to our command center. It's a human pilot, and that's where I would go. So I'm assuming that's probably where it's gonna go. Let's see, is it over here? Something's working on it. Maybe a bomber over there or something? Okay, there we go. There he is. It's not the human pilot, though.
Attention all fighters. Enemy bombers detected. Destroy them.
I think we took him out with a rocket. Alright. Anyway, we've at least preserved them from taking our... There we go, there's a bomber up there. So let's see if we can... I don't know if we can get up there. I don't know if we have enough energy to climb that high. We're stalling out here. Okay, they got it. Good deal. We can, however, help with these two remaining bombers. And we've got some more bombers incoming. What is that? And there's our human ground attack aircraft. So let's get in and deal with him. I'm going to drop a bomb and see if I can't catch him with a bomb. Pull up. Got him. That's one way to do it. Sorry, friendlies, for dropping a bomb on you, but pilot's got to do what a pilot's got to do. Alright. Got a multi-roll here.
Line of thunderstorms is approaching. We'll soon be unable to provide support. Do you copy? Over.
Deal with it. Should be able to finish it off here. It's one thing that this attack aircraft has strong cannons at this level. Alright.
That's it. There's no way to break through.
Whoa.
You're on your own.
Not the time to crash. Just hit the squall line. Flip over vertically. That's definitely the best way to turn these big, huge aircraft, is use gravity to your advantage and flip them over vertically. Let's see if we can't work on there. We probably need to get out of here. I don't think we have the health for this. We may not make it. Yeah. Oh well. It may have been a bad decision. But let's see how we're doing here.
Way to go. Victory is close.
Alright, so they've secured the airfield. We just need to hold on to what we have. So we've got some issues over there.
The enemy has captured the command center. Don't let them gain
Yeah, that's not good. We are at their command center though, so maybe we can take it. Come on, Iron. You can do it.
We've captured the command
There we go.
center. Trying to contact the front headquarters. spotted over the airfield.
Yep. Got to defend that airfield. Got a minute left. Looks like they got the airfield.
Our military base is launching strikes on the enemy. This will make things easier for you. Great job today.
All right, and we
We'll be
pulled
waiting
it
for you
out.
back home.
Excellent. Okay, so flying start. Bombardier for the aerial target we took out with our bomb. That was over at the command center there with the human pilot coming in on a ground attack aircraft. Effective fire. Subjugator, the #1 spot on the team. And our chevron result there. Over 8,000 in combat points, almost 9,000. So yeah, you see the strength of this aircraft. Definitely an effective heavy fighter. Strong cannons for this level. Seven aerial targets destroyed, 4 sectors captured. Over 3,000 in damage to aerial targets, and over 13,000 in damage to ground targets with 4 ground targets destroyed. So, a successful sortie there. So, I hope you have enjoyed this video. And if you get an opportunity to fly the DH-103 Hornet, I think you'll have great success in it.